One sunny afternoon, Arif was exploring his grandmother's old garden, a place filled with overgrown plants, crooked paths, and the scent of wildflowers. It was his favorite spot to let his imagination run wild. As he walked near a gnarled old tree with roots spreading like tentacles, he noticed something shiny buried in the dirt. Curious, Arif dug around the roots with his hands until he unearthed a small, rusty tin box. Inside, he found a single seed, smooth and golden, unlike anything he had seen before. On the lid of the box, faint words were etched, "For those who believe in the unseen." Intrigued, Arif decided to plant the seed in his backyard. He carefully chose a spot, dug a small hole, and placed the seed inside. Every day, he watered the soil, shielded it from birds, and even talked to it, hoping it would grow. Days turned into weeks, but the ground remained bare. Disappointed, Arif began to wonder if the seed was too old or if he was doing something wrong. One stormy night, as heavy rain battered his windows, Arif woke to a faint glow in his backyard. He rubbed his eyes, unsure if he was dreaming. Grabbing his raincoat, he stepped outside and was stunned to see a tiny plant glowing faintly in the dark, shimmering like gold. Its leaves were unlike anything he'd seen, etched with delicate patterns that seemed to shift under the rain. The storm passed by morning, and the plant remained. Arif studied its leaves closely, and to his surprise, the patterns resembled a map. The intricate lines and shapes seemed to lead to a location deep in the nearby forest. Arif, both nervous and excited, decided he had to follow the map. The next morning, armed with a flashlight and a sense of adventure, Arif entered the forest. The path on the leaves was challenging to decipher, leading him through winding trails, across small streams, and past towering trees. Just when he thought he might be lost, he reached a clearing he had never seen before. In the middle of the clearing stood a grove of glowing plants identical to the one in his backyard. The air was filled with a faint hum, and the glow lit the area like soft lanterns. At the center of the grove stood an elderly man, his long gray beard flowing like a river, and his hands weathered but steady. The man smiled, as though he had been expecting Arif. "Welcome, young one," he said in a deep, kind voice. He explained that the seed Arif had planted was no ordinary seed, it was one of the last of its kind, a guardian plant that helped pollinate and sustain the ancient trees of the forest. The glowing grove, he revealed, was a sacred space, hidden from those who lacked patience and curiosity. "You see," the gardener continued, "only those with true dedication can awaken the seed. You didn't give up, even when nothing seemed to happen. That is why the plant chose you." Arif listened in awe as the man shared stories of how the glowing plants kept the balance of the forest alive. The elderly gardener then handed Arif a small pouch of similar seeds. "You've proven yourself worthy," he said. "Plant these carefully, and protect them. The forest needs guardians like you." Arif returned home, his heart brimming with pride and responsibility. Over the next weeks and months, he planted the seeds in secret spots around the forest and in his own garden. Each time, he treated them with the same care and patience, watching as they glowed to life. Years later, Arif's backyard and the forest were filled with glowing plants, and people often whispered about the magical boy who had brought the forest back to life. Arif smiled whenever he heard the stories, knowing the truth, that it all began with one small seed, a little belief, and the willingness to wait for something extraordinary to bloom.